Sage Chief Executive Officer Michael Adams.
Thank you so much. It is just amazing, absolutely amazing to see so many of you here tonight to support Sage's path-breaking work on behalf of our LGBT elder pioneers. I can tell you, standing up here, this is a beautiful, beautiful sight. And I need to say what others have said before me as well. The work that Sage does here in New York City and across the country could not happen without the incredible dedication and commitment of our Sage staff and our Sage Board of Directors. So I want to ask our staff and our board members to please rise, please stand, and please give them your... They are incredible. They are incredible. Equally, it takes a lot to create a celebration like this, and we would not be able to celebrate in the way we are without our amazing sponsors, our amazing table captains, our incredible development staff, and our many volunteers. So please give it up for them as well. Give it up for them as well. Thank you. So, what you are doing tonight is not just filling a hall to capacity, although you are definitely doing that, but you are doing something even greater. Here tonight, you are creating a space and a community where all members of our community are valued, regardless of age. That is what you are doing here tonight. And the community that we are creating here tonight is one where LGBT elders are not at the margins, but at the center of our concerns. We are creating a community where our elders are our sages, the sources of our wisdom, of our experience, and of our history. And as we share this evening tonight with an incredible 12-year-old star like Gabby Pizzolo, and with an incredible 48-year-old man doing great things like Jim Obergefell, and an incredible 86-year-old legend and icon named Edie Windsor. And when we share this evening with each of them and all of our wonderful honorees and all of you, we are reminding ourselves of what a Sage community looks like. Because what a Sage community looks like is one that values all people and all members, and most especially our LGBT elder pioneers who paved the way for so much of the equality and so many of the rights that have been won. That is what a Sage community looks like, and that is what you are doing here tonight. So thank you very much. I need to say that we still have a long way to go to create that community. Far too many of our elders do not receive the services that they need and they deserve. Far too many of our elders cannot find a welcoming home because of housing discrimination. Far too many of our elders grow old without financial security and without the health care they deserve because our public policies don't think about them and ignore them. Far too many of our elders grow old alone because our own community, we sometimes forget about those people who built this community in which we live. So we still have a long way to go, but that's why Sage exists. We exist to change all that, and with your help, we are. We are making dramatic progress. We are providing life-giving services and life-saving services to tens of thousands of LGBT elders across this city. We are providing housing opportunities and benefits opportunities and counseling. We are providing training to aging service providers and to nursing homes and assisted living facilities so that they know how to treat members of our community well. What we are really doing is starting to show that, in fact, for all of us, love can win. You may remember last June we had a glorious, glorious evening, a glorious victory, when the Supreme Court declared that we are entitled to marriage equality. That was an incredible victory. It was an absolute victory. And we declared that night that love wins. And indeed, love did win that night. Love didn't win that night. But for love to truly win in all its beauty, in all its permutations, we must have a community where all people are loved, where all people are cherished, where all people are valued. And that's what SAGE is about. That's what we are here about tonight. That's what we are here about tonight, and that's what you are building. Now, SAGE cannot do this work alone, and we do not do this work alone. We have partners and organizations that we work with all across the country, hundreds of them. I could not begin to acknowledge all of their partnership and all of their work here, even though, in fact, they deserve it. I do, though, want to give a shout-out briefly to 3 extraordinary partners and supporters for SAGE and SAGE's work. I want to thank and give a shout-out to Louis Bradbury and the rest of the Calamus Foundation board for their incredible vision, in supporting SAGE's work over many years, and now for providing us with the resources that we need to drive forward a major national LGBT elder housing initiative. So thank you, Louis, and thank you to the Calamus board. Thank you. I also want to thank our great friends and partners at Griot Circle and their new executive director, Jose Albino. Griot Circle and SAGE Harlem are the 2 largest programs in the country for LGBT elders of color who face some of the most difficult challenges and circumstances. And Griot and SAGE are working closely together, and I'm so, so, so appreciative of that partnership. And I want to give a major shout out to AARP, and I need to tell you a story. Last weekend we were contacted by the leaders of a campaign in Houston to keep a human rights ordinance that was just enacted last year to protect LGBT people and people of color and old people and veterans from discrimination. Unfortunately, some people seem to think that we don't deserve to be protected from discrimination, and there is a major effort underway to repeal that ordinance. That effort is being driven by bigotry against transgender people. And SAGE was contacted by the campaign last weekend and said, we need AARP's help. If AARP steps in and makes a strong statement in support of this ordinance, we can win this campaign. We got on the phone with our friends at AARP, and 3 days later, they issued in the Houston Chronicle an incredibly powerful statement of support for civil rights and equality for all people, including LGBT people. That's the work of partnership, and that's the work of our friends. So what we are building here is a community where every 12-year-old will be supported as she or he struggles to come out and be who they are, where every 48-year-old will be supported as he or she lives their dream, where every 86-year-old and every 76-year-old and every 96-year-old will be recognized for the great gifts that they bring to our community and will be helped and supported in whatever way but they need it as they age. That's the community that we are building here together. That's the community that we are building so that love truly wins. And thank you so much for being a part of that community.